another phase of our schedule, and that is a tournament, exempt tournament, Maui Classic, one of the more prestigious tournaments you're going to play in, and we're excited to be going to Maui, but we're going to take care of business, and that is to go and play basketball game and multiple basketball games. And the most important game is that first game in a tournament format. And for some of our younger guys, this will be a tremendous experience. But not only the young guys, I think older guys as well. We're looking forward to some good matchup. When you talk about the California team, a team that returns 4 starters from last year, a team that won 21 games, went deep into the tournament, lost to a team that we played last year, I think Syracuse, in the 3rd round. So it's an experienced group. How ironic, one of my former players that played for me, that was signed at Missouri, Ricky Krecklow, he's playing there, so I get a chance to see another one of them guys that played for me. But Ricky's an excellent player. Cobb, I think he's probably one of the all-time assist leaders, I think, in the conference, especially at Cal. So he's really critical to that basketball team. Solomon, big kid that's really active on the boards. So they've got size. They got guys that can shoot the basketball. Have a tremendous freshman in Bird. So it's going to be it's an interesting matchup. And of course, Mike Montgomery, a tremendous coach, does a great job with his personnel, and we've got our work cut out for us. But we're excited to have not only the challenge but the opportunity to play in this tournament, and hopefully we can play well.
Mike, could you go over the process that got on Landis here, whether it was you contacted him or him contacted you, how it worked, and also what you knew of him in high school?
Well, when I was at Missouri, we were familiar with him. I know TJ was really high on him. And I think Landis is one of those guys that he ended up getting his test score late, and so but we were aware of it. And once we got here, of course, we played him last year, and how the process, how it took place, I don't know if he got contact with us. I don't know how that worked, but somewhere there was some interest. He wanted to get closer to home, and so it worked out for him. We had a scholarship available. He wanted to get close to home. He actually wanted to waiver, try to play last year, which would have been huge with that basketball team. But it worked out. He had a year to kind of get a feel for being here and what we expect from our players. And I think he took that to his advantage. That's why he's coming out of the gates playing some good basketball. He's a good basketball player. He brings toughness to our program. He's a lot more mature, but he's a guy, you put the ball in his hand, he can make some plays for it. But I've really been impressed with Landis is, how hard he's playing, rebounding the basketball, defending, playing team basketball. And sometimes that's not very easy for a guy that's been scoring, used to scoring all his life. They score and score. But he's seeing now that he can play some quality minutes. Don't have to play all the minutes. He can play some quality minutes, and he's doing a fantastic job. He's one of those guys. He played for Oliver Fitzpatrick, who, of course, with Joe Johnson. So there's a history there. There's a relationship there from that standpoint.
You guys go to Maui. What's the schedule?
We'll leave out tomorrow morning. Get there around 4 o'clock. That'll be our day off, and we'll have some workouts over there. Guys get a chance to see some of the scenery. Maybe take a tour just to see some of the history there. But more importantly, this is a business trip. We're going to focus in on, getting our team better. And there, of course, now we have them away from a lot of distractions, so we can really get some work done and get ready for California.
Like obviously, when I'm away from home, that was an issue with this team before you came back. Based on what's happened last few years, how important is it that you guys show that you can win outside the state of Arkansas?
Well, to get where we want to go, Bob, we all got goals. I think when you start the season, you're talking about, hey, you want to hope every team that plays wants to win a national championship. And so if you're going to do that, then you got to be playing at the end of the year, and you want to be playing some good basketball. So, and if you're going to win a championship, even in your conference, you got to take care of home, and you got to win on the road. And if you're going to be relevant in basketball around the country, then you got to win games on the road. Win games on the road, neutral site, wherever. So, and to me, that's all about toughness and having guys carry their practice to the game and just being familiar with one another. I think the better teams tend to do better on the road, better teams. And when adversity takes place, you got to have some kind of thread that can bring all those guys together. And I think we got some thread. I think we got some glue guys, and I think we got some featured guys. So now let's see if we can, how that translate as we go on the road. We'll find out more about ourselves. That's the beauty to me about this tournament is we get a chance to go and play against some tremendous teams and find out a little bit more about our basketball team.
So, you see some evidence, just what in particular do you see that you think this will be a better road team than last year?
I mean, you got more players. You got players, it makes a big difference. You got some, and we have some guys that have been through it. I mean, if you notice our team last year, the guys that are coming back, the guys that played well on the road. I mean, you look at a guy like Qualls. I mean, he, as a matter of fact, that's when he really started playing a lot more for our basketball team. He played well on the road, and then we started inserting him. You look at a guy like Cody. I mean, those guys are fighters. Those guys are, and they'll fight. And the key is you just got to have a selling force when adversity takes place. And I think we got some guys now that are in place that understand that process. It's got to be we hogs. We got to do it together. So I think from a leadership standpoint, I think we're in a better position. And that's how you win on the road. You got to have a selling force. You know, the coach can only do so much on the bench. It's got to take place on that floor with those players that are out there.
You know, Landis, I think it was when he was sitting next to you the other day, he said watching games back here last year, you know, he could see spots where he could have helped. How much do you think how big a difference could he have made in some road games last year? How big a difference do you expect him to make in road games now?
Well, you know, there's some guys that are leaders by vocal, they talk, and some guys just do it, you know, they just play. And I think with the way he plays, he's one of those guys that he's going to play the same way, whether he's at home or on the road. And now you got guys can get on, you know, they can get on his back because, you know, I think he brings a level of toughness. And I saw that, you know, with my Missouri team, DeMaurice Carroll. I thought he was, you know, called him a junkyard dog, but he assumed the leadership role, and he did it with the way he played. And what took place then, the other guys kind of followed his lead. And that makes a difference. And you got to have guys who can put the ball in the hole on the road. I think we got multiple guys that can put the ball in the hole. That's a big key there. You got to have an answer on the road. You can play defense till you're blue in the face, but you got to have an answer, and that is you got to have some guys that can score and put the ball in the hole.
Did it help last year with him sitting out maybe to earn the respect of the other guys so that he could step in, Landis, so he could step in so quickly this year?
Well, part of it was that. I think part of him being here last year, you know, I think you got to earn the respect. But I think more so with his playing and how he's come out playing this year. How he started out, you know, how he's worked extremely hard in the weight room, working in the classroom. And then, of course, he's as a carryover into the games. And our guys, I think our guys understand when a guy can play. They can sense that. They can see that. That's the realness of it. So it's easy to follow a guy like that.
Mike, Qualls, his best three scoring games have been the first three games right here out of the chute. What's different about him this year as far as scoring? He's doing other stuff too, but he's really picked up his score.
Well, he's developing. I think we know his athletic ability is off the charts, and I think now you can start seeing his skill level now is starting to come to par. And so now you see a guy that's really developing. I think, you know, the off season he's worked extremely hard to get better. His ball handling is so much better. But he's playing the total game. He just, you know, his jump shot, he's improved on that. But one of the things I've had a talk with him is don't just rely on that. And so it's good to see him do all the other things. That is, you know, God has gifted him with the athletic ability. I mean, he can block shots. He can go rebound anytime he wants to. And so consistency and just continue to do all the little things that add up to winning. He wants to win, and so when you ask me, I think that's just the development of a player. He's developing right before our eyes. As our team will do the same thing. They will change right before your eyes.
You said before the year that the point guard position is going to be more of a group effort. How do you think things have gone in the games with the guys that have handled the ball a lot?
I think those guys have done. I think Fred has done well. I think Kai is still getting into a rhythm, but I think Fred has done a pretty good job with the ball. I think Kiko has done okay. Ricky, when he's played well. Our skill forwards, I tell you what, can take a lot of pressure off of a point guard. When you got skill forwards like we have, because they can make plays. They can make plays not only for themselves but for other people's. But I think our guys are they've done well. But the challenges will get a little tougher, and we'll find out more about them.
Does Paul surprise you, though, or did you sense this the way he was practicing last month?
Say it again now.
Is what Paul's done these first few games surprised you, or was he practicing that well?
No, I think he's. I've said all along. I think he's coming. I think he's coming along. And like I say, he in the off season this past year, and that sophomore year, sometimes guys take a big game. He's hungry. He wants to play, and so. But I could sense it during the summer and during the fall. I mean, he's playing with a lot of confidence right now, and but more than playing with confidence, he's doing all the things that we asked him to do. He's just being a total team player, and he's just got to continue. I think still there's a lot of great basketball in front of him if his mindset is right. There's a lot of times I think in the past he's kind of got frustrated, but now he's channeling some of that frustration into playing. And I think when you do that, I think it tends to help you become a better basketball player.
Support us about where you thought he'd be right now as far as his progression.
I think Bobby is really now making the adjustment to the physical part of the game. I think he's playing now with that physicality that you got to play with. He's doing well. He's doing well.
I don't know if you saw this, ESPN.com a while back. They rated like the 10 worst non-conference schedules among major schools.
I didn't see it.
I think they had you guys, Mississippi State, in their top 10 for worst non-conference schedules. Do you have any thoughts on that? Or do you feel like
I didn't see it, so I don't have any thoughts on it. I think we got a good schedule. I think you've seen the teams that we play. SMU is a good basketball team. Louisiana is a very good basketball team. See, they didn't see those players. See, all they do is just look at records, and there's no apologizing about the schedule here. We feel like we got a darn good schedule, and the schedule is going to hopefully prepare us for SEC play, and that's the most important thing. This tournament here, I mean, it's going to be who's who there, and it's a great opportunity for us to play against some great competition.
It's early. You got the whole SEC and all that. These games could impact what happens in March as far as getting a bid or not. Do you talk to the guys about that? Like, hey, these games could be really important at the end of the year. How are you doing that?
No, more importantly, I just talk about us getting better, Bob. And you're going to hear me say this all year long. I just worry about us from day to day. I don't worry about what's going to take place in SEC play and at the end, postseason play. If we go day to day and just get better, our next game is the most important game. That's California, and that's all we can control. Let's focus on that. Of course, we're part of a tournament, so it's going to be multiple games. That could play into our favor. Why? Because of the depth we have. But if we go out and play like we're capable of playing, I think the wins and losses will take care of themselves. And I feel like our guys are going in the right direction. To me, that's the key. We go out and do the things we do. All that other stuff will line up. That's how I've been a focused guy, and I want our guys to be focused on the task at hand.
Coach, the last two games, Antoine hasn't really seen a lot of playing time in the last 10 minutes of the game. Do you have hesitations about putting him in the end, or has it just kind of been the way the flow of the game?
I didn't know he hadn't played. I mean, the guys.
He's played.
Okay, that's what I'm saying. The guy's playing 20-some odd minutes. He's shooting over 50% from the field. He's shooting 47 from the three-point line. He'll be in there when it counts. Trust me. Okay, he will. In the earliest part of the season, you got to remember, coaches is trying to just find combinations and trying to get guys some quality playing time. There's going to come a time, and it's coming quick, that bench gets shortened. Okay, and so there's a core guys, a core group of guys that we're going to have, and we know that Antlon is in that core, and so there are going to be some games where he will certainly be in there without a doubt. Your featured players, your main players will be in there.
And I mean, it's a business trip. You're going over there to win games, but how do you balance going to a neat place like that? You want the guys to have good experience as well as basketball. I guess how do you sort of balance when you see some activities along with practice? And the games?
Well, they'll have some time, Bob. They'll have some time. We play Monday. We get over there Thursday night. So you got Friday, Saturday. We'll practice those games, but there'll be the window there where those guys can kind of do some tourism things. We got some, I think, some banquets set up. We got some meals set up for our players. So they'll get a chance to take in some of the ongoings on the island. But more importantly, though, is we're there for basketball.
Have you ever coached against Mike Montgomery before?
Yeah, well, he's at Cal. Yeah, my Missouri team played him at Cal.
Okay.
He's at Cal. I think it was his second year. Yeah, you should have did your homework, Bob.
I should have. Okay.
Somebody help Bob out on that, okay?
How'd you guys do in the game? Or who won?
Huh?
Who won the game?
Do your homework, Bob, okay?
Okay, I'm gonna guess Cal did, maybe, or I don't know. This is what
No,
they're
we
playing.
played well. We beat him. We played
You
well.
beat 'em?
We played well. We played well.
You know him very well? Or?
Yeah, I know Mike. He's a real nice. He and his wife and my wife and I, we go on a trip at Nike every year, and he's there every year, and we get a chance to spend a little time together. When you're not competing, it's a time where you can get with each other. So he's a good man, good person, great coach. He's coached Stanford, then he went to the NBA, then he went across the bridge to Cal. So I don't think he had to sell his house. So he was right there in the same area there. But he's a real genuine guy.
You kind of touched on your depth. I mean, your bench may get shorter. The season goes on for 3 games in 3 days. Do you feel pretty good? You can play a lot of guys.
Well, it's going to be a point where we're going to have to utilize guys. I think that's when you play in that setting, and there's going to be a lot of energy exerted. That's when you play in those games. The defense and the energy should be at a tremendous level. You get a chance to play a national-wide audience, playing against a pretty good basketball team. You're going to exert a lot of energy. So, but I think that depth hopefully will serve us well. And even with the games we've already played, those guys, let's say a guy like Ja'Cory or Moses, even for a guy like Landis, now they've had some game experience, in a Razorback uniform for Landis and the young guys, Bobby and those guys, and that's going to serve us well.